478 Main Street, La Quinta Inn and Suites. Following that, we'll have the town planner update, old and new business, and then adjournment. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes of April 9th? Questions or comments? If not, we have a motion to approve as submitted.
March 26th.
Oh, yeah, right. I was looking at the agenda. Okay, March 26th, I meant,
Thank
sorry.
you.
Yeah. I'm today is obviously today. Motion to approve?
I move to
Second.
accept this.
Second.
Second, okay. All in favor? Opposed? No one?
Abstain.
And one abstention. Very good. Okay. Great. So next, Gene, we do have that A&R. Do you want to go over that?
Yes, we do. So on the agenda, we added one extra parcel. So this is really 24B and 26 Camp Road being combined to conform to create one parcel, as shown on the screen here and in your packet. This just came in this afternoon. Since the plan meets the requirements, I would recommend the board vote to endorse the plan as submitted.
Very good. Any questions or comments? Seems pretty straightforward. Okay, motion to endorse the plan?
So moved. I'll second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? No one? Great. Sweet. Okay.
Eunice, you should be able to share your screen now.
You're mute.
And you're muted.
I'm sorry, yes. Let me find now. Share screen.
You want to introduce it, Gene? or-
Yes.
Yeah.
So with us this evening, we have Taran Patel. He is the new, fairly new owner of the La Quinta at 478 Main Street. And he is in the process of wanting to do some upgrades to the facility, both inside and outside. And he's recently been to the Design Review Committee to get approval for new signage to be installed, for new tile to be placed on the building, and also for the new canopy and to extend that canopy. During that process, I determined that he should come in for a waiver of site plan because he was extending the canopy out a little bit. The parking lot is not changing, circulation is not changing. Technically, you should be going one way in there now. People tend to go both ways, but they will be adding some striping to better control the traffic flow. And actually yesterday, a concern came up from the facilities director that the snow storage areas that were on a previously approved plan were not shown on this plan, and the concern was pushing snow up against the senior center property now that it's being renovated and vegetated more to the property line. So this afternoon, Eunice was able to add those two snow storage areas to the plan. And Eunice, sorry Eunice, I don't want to mispronounce your last name, so Eunice is...
Yeah, that's great, Eunice.
Okay, Eunice. So Eunice can go over the plans in more detail for the board. Oh, and I should say, staff has reviewed, we have no concerns. Both police and fire have signed off on the proposal as well.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for the explanation, Jean. Should I give some more explanation?
Yes,
Right now?
please. Yes.
Okay. As you mentioned before, we are extending the canopy in here a little bit. This is the existing site plan, what we have. As you guys can see, total parking spot was 67 units on the existing site plan. Since we are extending the canopy, these two spaces is gone. It's like this, as you can see in here. It's not going to be usable anymore. But instead of that, we are putting 4 new spaces on the left side in here. As you can see on the existing, there is no parking spot. Thankfully, we will be able to add this since this distance is 22 feet and it's sufficient for the traffic flow. we could add 4 new spaces in here. So end of the day, total parking spots will be 69 units. By the way, hotel has 62 rooms and 3 employees working. So we will have 69 units. And also you guys can see in here the traffic flow. This is the entrance area. It's going to be one way from here, and the traffic flow will be like this. This is going to be exit way. And also since our new canopy width is 32 feet and a 4-inch, 2 car can easily will be fit under the canopy. And also we didn't touch anything about the handicap parking area in here. It will be remained as is. And the last thing I need to explain, the snow storage area. The red area, the pink area, the angle is from here, and from this part of the canopy, the angle is going like this. So the right part of the canopy, the snow will be stored in here, designated snow storage area. For this part, it's going to be stored in here. And except this, everything will be remained as is. So do you guys need another explanation for this part?
Well, we'll see. I think it's pretty clear, but is there any comments or questions? Dane?
No.
Wally?
Oh, good.
No. Sue? No. Dave? No, I think we're in good shape on that then. Do you want to go
Yes.
through the conditions, or at
Yes.
least?
So I would recommend approval of the waiver of site plan as requested with the following conditions of approval, and these have been provided to the applicant as well. 1, all construction and site improvements shall be in conformance with the plans submitted and approved by the board. 2, all state and local zoning bylaws, building codes, and regulations must be adhered to. 3, all requirements of the building inspector shall be met. 4, all other necessary permits must be obtained prior to start of construction. 5, the site shall be kept in a neat and orderly condition throughout the construction process. And 6, an emergency contact phone list with at least 2 names and numbers on it shall be supplied to the Sturbridge Police Department to be used by dispatchers in the case of an off-hour emergency prior to the start of construction. The list must be updated whenever necessary for the duration of the project.
Very good. Do we have a motion then to grant?
Excuse me, Chairman, before we vote, I've got a quick question. Did we say how many parking spaces would be required versus how many are still existing? I
Yes.
trust it's not an issue, but I'm not sure that I
No, they
saw
actually
that.
have more than they need, so they have 62 rooms and 3 employees, so they actually need 65 spaces.
They have 69.
Yes.
That makes me happy.
Yep.
I saw that 2 of the spaces per storage area were
Yes.
being eaten up, and I just
Yes.
wanted to make sure that we weren't setting a precedent for
Yep,
double
no.
dipping.
No.
That was my only thought.
Very
Aside
good.
from that, I'd like to make the motion previously mentioned.
Very good. Thank you. A second?
Second.
Second, Sue. Any other discussion? All in favor? Very good. All approved. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming in. Good luck with the
Yes,
project.
good luck.
Looks good.
Good luck.
Great.
Welcome.
Welcome to Sturbridge.
Very good. All right, next, Gene, we have the town planner update.
Yes. Let me just, here's your report. Here it is. So I just provided in the report,
You need something, or?
you're all set. You're all set. We'll give you something in writing tomorrow. Okay? You're welcome. Eunice, you're all set too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for,
Coming in.
thank you all guys. Very good evening.
Bye.
Thank you.
So I did provide you an update on the MassWorks grant, so unfortunately, I've had to request another extension to the grant. So we were hoping to be complete by June 30th to close it out, but we've been waiting for Mass DOT for quite some time.
Yeah.
I guess they're inundated with projects, and then when we did get the review back, now, they said that our data was stale dated, and they required a new traffic study and new traffic counts. And also, we had designed it with the, the
Right.
wire lights, and as is pretty consistent throughout the corridor, and now that needs to be changed to 4 masts. And also now they want a shared use path on either side of the road, only in front of the frontage. So we need an easement from the bank, so we'll be working toward that.
Unfortunately, the saga continues on that. I mean, it's been
It
such
does.
a bad
It does.
situation all along.
So it was disappointing to find we needed to do the counts. So the counts have been done.
Yeah.
The traffic study is being updated to be resubmitted, and the changes will,
Right. Do they have
worked
any
on.
criteria on when they consider the traffic study to be outdated? I mean, none of these are very old. I mean, it seems.
nothing's really very old. They did it at the time the project was coming through the planning board, and, you know, there have been a lot of studies on that corridor
Right,
for
right. So
Amazon
many, I mean,
and
really. And
for
and
the other
then even
warehouse.
when we have the study, they want to do something different. So.
Yeah, yeah, so.
Now, the difference with those poles, is that more expensive for the lights?
Not sure yet. We haven't gotten to the point of costing things out,
And,
so,
just one, the other issue really was that when they looked at the other, concepts and so forth and saw what would be required for land taking, and then to come back to it after having visited the whole thing about the difficulty of getting more land, it does seem unfortunate that they're taking this approach on it.
it's a little unusual, and I guess another side of that is, so we're doing, a small parking lot on 9 River Road for the Grand Trunk Trail, and we have a portion that will ultimately end up being on-road. So it looks like right now their preliminary recommendations will be that we have a gate before people come out onto Route 15 saying, you're entering a public way, because even though we have the signs, give bikes 4 feet, we don't have technical shared use paths. And that's only in the preliminary review stages right now, too. So I was a little surprised to see, unless they have bigger plans, we do know they want to do a corridor study the whole length. So I'm sure that, per their new designs, they have to do shared use paths, or per their new requirements. So maybe they're trying to get ahead of that with this little portion, making sure that Noble and the bank give enough land for that, but maybe not have them stripe them in right now. I'm not quite sure yet. We're not at that point. So I've submitted the quarterly report, the request for extension. We can't meet our 75% deadline. We can't meet our closeout deadline. So it's in the hands of Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development right now to see if I'll get the extensions. I would assume we will, but I never
Yeah, I mean,
want
it
to
doesn't seem like they have
assume.
much option. I mean, they really,
No.
it isn't anything we've done. I mean, it's really the state as well.
And they did acknowledge that several towns are in the same position of
Yeah.
having waited a very prolonged time for
And even
review.
on some of these other grants, similar to even the small bridge grants, I mean, I've seen at least 2 communities where they've been extended for more than a year even.
Right.
So, I mean, it is a difficult time getting some of this stuff done.
It is, and we're already operating on an extension, so, because they had to start to design the roundabout first, and
Yeah.
then that changed, so.
Right.
So I will continue to work
Any other
with
questions
Solely.
or comments on that? or-
Yeah, I do. What's the difference between the signal light poles? What was,
Mast arms instead of the wire signals.
mast arms are just so much more permanent as opposed to I thought eventually they're going to do a roundabout eventually with lights in the interim.
We're not sure what they'll do eventually, so this is considered temporary mitigation, though, this signalized intersection, and Mass DOT will plan to study the corridor in its entirety and they will implement changes along the corridor eventually. We're not quite sure. So it could be a 3-year mitigation, or it could be a 10-year, 15-year mitigation. Not really sure, but eventually, yes, it could be all ripped out.
So on the same line, still studying that corridor going down to 131 and Route 20 as well. Yeah, are we still on track for the roundabout at that intersection, or has that been, the date has been changed?
We don't know if they're doing a roundabout, so that is our conceptual plan that Mass DOT has now taken on as their own. They've hired engineers to evaluate that intersection to see what the most appropriate path might be, and we'll find out soon. We're not sure yet.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you. That's all I
welcome.
had.
But don't worry, that sign can be relocated.
Yes, we designed it purposely to be relocated because, we knew eventually it would need to be removed, which is why that is faux stone on the bottom too, so.
Good. Okay, that's good to know.
All right, anything else on that?
I have another comment or question about DOT. Do you know anything about paving on Route 20? I know, obviously, they had their big project down by the mill with the culvert under the road. I assume they're going to pave sometime in the spring, but do you know anything about the limits of that?
They still need to come back and do more culvert work. That's not done.
Cool.
So-
I thought that I understood that they were done with that and we were temporary paved until we were permanent paved. Did I
No.
miss that?
I think something else gave way, wasn't it? Or
Pardon?
Had something else, settled that they didn't expect to settle?
Oh, yeah, we've had some settling over the winter, but my understanding is they still have a little more work to do there.
Really?
too.
Wow.
I could be wrong. I haven't,
Because I agree. I thought that the
I
word
thought
was
that
that
they
they
were
had it
done,
done, and that was
yes.
it, and then the, temporary paving,
Right.
and final paving would come. But then we did get a concern that there seemed to be kind of more of a settling than
it
anyone would have
is,
expected.
there's a lot
but
of
it's,
settling there. So maybe that's the additional work to be done, is to kind of bring that back up.
What particular area are we discussing on Route
Like
20?
In front of
Yankee
the
Peddler?
Yankee
Scrivener's
Candle.
Workshop
Oh,
together in Pedal.
because the whole
Yeah.
surface from, needs to be done, not just
Yes.
that. It seems to be the least of our problems.
And I had always known they were going to finish paving that area. My original question was, to what limit? I had heard that they were looking to go maybe as far down as 148.
I'm not sure, because they have been doing a lot of survey work for about 2 months on Route 20, so we are not entirely sure. We haven't been notified of anything. The last I spoke to our DPW director, she hadn't been notified of anything yet. We do believe some of the surveying they're doing might be for the flashing crosswalks at certain locations, because we did put in a couple of requests for that. One by, down by the CrossFit, and then one further down by Crescent Gate and Arnold.
That'll be good there. That'll help.
DOT was down on the road today. They had the police were blocking them off because they were doing some repairs, but they were also doing some work up on the sidewalks and doing some digging, and they had a small tractor out there too. So that was down further down in Fiskdale, doing some work, which I had never had seen them do before. So they look like preparing to do something,
Yeah, the road surface is ablating a lot now.
Yes.
And you can see little bits are coming right off the road surface, and it ends up on
Right.
by the sidewalks and the transition there.
I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do a little drainage mitigation in some of those lower areas that tend to pond up kind of in front of McNuck's or elsewhere down in front of that pizza place where the Bank of
Yes,
America used to
yes.
be. I think that is that's step zero if they're going to touch it. And I'd be surprised if they top coat it without doing something to address that stuff. But
Yeah.
as we've seen, they spend their time doing things. So my question as they pave down towards 148 is, to what limit? If they touch an intersection, they go up and down those legs to some distance, or they stay away from it. And then once they touch it, it's kind of in place, and that intersection is interesting. So I know they've also looked at that, but there's no good plan for that at the moment.
Yeah, they have no immediate plans to do anything.
So once it gets paved, it's probably not going to get touched until I'm dead.
Right.
Probably. And I normally don't receive notice. On occasion, I'll receive notice about what's going on, but I have, like I said, I have spoken to Heather, and she hasn't received a formal notice of what the scope of work is for
The best
that
we can
area.
know. For a town that's encumbered by DOT roads left, right, and center, their communication style leaves a lot to be desired, I'll say. And I know a lot of people in the town have to deal politically with them to be nice, but this is frustrating as a resident and as a board member. I know our town is doing everything they can between departments and administratively. It's just really disappointing.
It's hard.
All right. All right, True.
That's all I got.
Okay, great. Jean, you have
Next,
anything
yeah.
to
I do. So Blueberry Hill Estates, I was able to do our pre-construction meeting. Conservation Commission actually was able to do theirs as well. They beat the rain last week. The conservation easements have all been signed by Conservation and the Board of Selectmen. And I expected work to begin the end of last week. I'm sure they have started. They did give me their 48-hour notice Wednesday. I just haven't been out there yet to see what they might have done. They need to get the trees all laid down because of a certain species of bat that could start nesting at a certain time in April.
Oh, wow.
And if the trees weren't on the ground, then they would not be able to start until after breeding season and after the bats leave the nest. I'm not quite sure how long that takes. So it hopefully works out well, and they were planning to just go in there and at least get everything laid down. 505 Main Street, you might have seen the demolition is complete, and they are hoping to have a building permit pretty soon, to start construction on that. The 501 Main Street, we finally just received Mass DOT access approval for our parking lot, and all we did was move the curb cut a little bit more center, and it took all this time. So that is underway. We're hoping to be open within 60 days. Interstate Towing continues to work with Mass DOT on access approval, which is needed for the utility tie-in as well as the access. We feel we're very close on that. The town did send correspondence to Mass DOT encouraging the wrapping up of that.
Gene, do you know how long the parking lot was seeking approval before it got it?
Jeff Bridges was still the town administrator here at the time, so but I can't say whether DPW had requested the change in access at that time.
Yeah.
It might not have been done until the transition between Butch and Heather. So I really can't say how many months, but it's been quite some time,
More than 12?
perhaps. For your April 23rd meeting, there are no filings yet. However, I do know of an A&R coming in. You recently divided some land, or signed a plan to divide some land for somebody, and the neighbor's pool is encroaching on that land now, so they are going to gift the neighbor a small corner so that he doesn't have to move his pool. So they hope to get it in today. They did not get it in. That may be all you have. I don't know if your preference is just to meet at your regular time, or if 4 people want to come in have a small daytime meeting. You can let me know what you'd like to do.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the only thing we have, that might be something we can try to do. Unless we have
Is that
other
a-
business that comes in.
Know who's available during, Sue, you could potentially be available during the day. Charlie, Wally, Dave?
No.
You're not available during the day.
I work from home most days except for Mondays and Tuesdays,
Okay,
or if I'm traveling. So if we could line it up, I could
okay.
try to carve it
All
out.
right. And Brad works from home too, so he may be available. So just to put it out there, let's see what
If it doesn't work,
comes in.
even if we had just a meeting at 6:30, whatever it works.
Right, yeah, if it doesn't work. And then the May meetings are May 14th or 21st, depending on what we have. And so far, I don't really see anything coming down the road. So I think I'll lean toward maybe the 21st. It's more in the middle of the month, and it's right before I leave on vacation for a couple of weeks, so kind of break
Yeah,
up the
because I'm
gap.
not available on the 14th either.
That's right, you're not available on the 14th. So.
No meeting on the 7th of May, then? Nothing on the 7th of May, right?
No,
Okay.
no. Like I said, we'll probably just have the one meeting,
Yeah.
and that's really all I have.
Very good, well, thank you very much. Any old or new business, Dave?
Nope.
Molly? Sue?
No.
Dave?
Also,
Okay, and how about a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Very good, have a great evening.